I'm here at Agoura Antique Mart, and I'm talking to, what is your name, young lady?
Maria Bartlett.
Bartlett. And Maria, how long have you been in the antique business? Not how long have you had this mall, but how long have you been in the business?
About 25 years.
About 25 years. And when did you establish this mall?
20 years ago.
20 years ago. And from the those 5 years from when you started to when you started the mall, what were you doing?
I was just dabbling in antiques. I wasn't selling, just collecting.
And how were you dabbling? Were you buying and selling?
I was buying, I wasn't selling. I was
so
just
you were
collecting.
Just buying. And where were you buying? Where were some of the places that you were buying back then?
You know, I don't even remember. It was mostly local.
Where were you living?
I was living in Woodland Hills.
So you were living in Woodland Hills, and you were buying on Sherman Oaks Boulevard on Ventura Boulevard? Where people's homes, garage sales? There must have been places that you were buying from.
I would say all of the above. I mean, just a little bit here and there. I mean, I wasn't doing it real seriously.
And so were you building a collection, or were you just buying stuff that interested you at the moment? Just buying stuff for me. And what were some of the things you remember buying in the early days? I don't remember. Jewelry, things I would never... And what kind of jewelry? Costume jewelry?
Costume jewelry.
Costume jewelry.
But anything I was buying back then, it wouldn't be anything like I was selling today.
Okay. And when you say that, what are the kinds of things that you'd be selling today that would not have been selling, that you would not have been selling back then?
Probably industrial items.
Industrial items?
Industrial wasn't even really heard of 20 years ago. Nobody was interested.
When would you say that industrial items started its big push?
Maybe the last 4 years, 4 years ago.
Okay, so within the last 5 years or so. And what are some examples of some interesting industrial items that have come your way in the last few years?
We've had I had a fantastic old safe.
A fantastic old safe.
From the 1930s.
About how
large,
big was that? It was about 5 feet tall?
6 feet. It was heavy.
Did you have the combination to it?
Didn't have the combination. Had all kinds of cubbies underneath. It had a mirror, an oval mirror, believe it or not, on the front. It was all iron. It was fabulous.
And how old did you say it was?
1930s.
1930s. And what's something else that you've had?
We've had industrial cabinets. We've had carts, lighting. And
what do people these days do with? What about your clientele? You have a very feminine clientele.
Not really. We do.
I've been here for the last hour, and I've talked to several women and looked around and see, mainly women here. So I'd say that you do have a feminine clientele. I'm not saying that you kick men out. You haven't kicked me out.
Not yet.
So, but what do these women do with this industrial kind of stuff?
Put it in offices. Put it in their boys' room. Put it in dens. We sell a lot of old signage, which is great decorating for dens, offices. Those are the two biggest rooms, I think, that people like to decorate.
So what are some of the other trends that you have noticed, not necessarily just in the last couple years, but maybe in the last 10 years? What are we doing today?
I would say it's mostly here is industrial. We're getting a little bit into mid-century. We have a new mid-century booth.
I think I saw that
taken off.
So I'm here at Agoura, and I'm talking to, what is your name, young lady?
Lonnie Green.
Lonnie Green. Would you spell Lonnie, and does Green have an E at the end of it or not?
Yes,
it does. So Lonnie?
L-A-N-I.
L-A-N-I. Now, Lonnie, the word is, now I see that you have a lot of chandeliers and you have a beautiful place, and here we are on a Saturday, and you've got it barricaded so you could continue working on it. Lonnie, I was told that you were kind of a late bloomer when it came to the antique business. That it was several years, it was 3 years before you got into it. You were 3 years old before you were dumpster diving, is that right?
I was 3, correct.
Now, what city was this happening?
Sherman Oaks.
In Sherman Oaks, so...
Actually, no, first Carmel.
First Carmel.
Then Sherman Oaks.
Now, were your parents just irresponsible? They a 3-year-old
I don't think anybody wanted to mess with me even back then.
They didn't want to mess with you.
Yeah.
Now, how would you describe the specialty that you have? Even though I see a lot of chandeliers, what else would you say that characterizes what you have here?
Well, first off, I'm an artist.
You're an artist. And so when you say that you're an artist, are you a painter, a writer, a sculptor? What sort of an artist are you?
I take pieces and I morph them into...
So you're an assemblage artist.
There you go.
Okay. And when you do this, do you have exhibitions or things like that? Or do you have them here at Agoura?
This is it.
Okay. Why don't you show me one of the pieces that you have here right now that you are happy with?
Right now? Let's see.
Yes, right now.
There's so many. Well, let's see. For instance, there's a desk over there that I just did myself. So, since there's so much stuff here, when you say that there's a desk... like something.
Okay, so
That's why I block it.
Okay, so this desk here that you did yourself. Now, what is it
barricaded?
What is it that you did here? Did you make the desk from scratch, or you took a desk and you antiqued it?
Actually, it was dilapidated. It was not. It was just falling apart. So I cleaned it off.
How did you clean it? What materials did you use, or chemicals? How did you clean it off?
Honestly, I'm
always trying to get the truth.
Bon Ami.
Bon Ami.
Right, it's like an Ajax, but it's
is that banana? Okay, you pronounce it with a little French twist. Okay,
it's more environmentally friendly.
You use it because it's environmentally friendly.
Ajax has chemicals in it, like bleach and stuff, and then this can go even in,
Okay, so you use a product that's kind of like a cleanser.
Correct, and I scrub it with actually just a scouring pad. And I just clean the hell out of it, and then I take a hose and I hose the whole thing out.
So then you clean it and then you hose it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how old would you say this particular piece of furniture was when you started? So this was about 1940s.
Correct.
Would you know the style of this or anything about that?
No, I know my grandma had pieces like this, but you can tell it's old because it's dovetailed in here.
Okay.
See the dovetail?
Yes, I see the dovetail.
Yeah, and that just pieced together like that. And you can just feel the quality too.
So if you were to sell this today, how much in hard cold cash would you require to get this from your yellow gloved hands?
Actually, I have really good prices.
Well, good.
I don't want to scare people. I want people to have fun when they come in here because I don't get paid for the time I put in here and paint it and sand. And then I treat it and I sand it and then I just kind of I'm the one who does all of this.
Yes.
So this is supposed to look like it's been weathered, like it's been in a barn.
It looks like it's been weathered and hosed and banamied. So how much would you want for this one?
Actually, this one is not. It's $3.95.
Okay, so for $3.95.
She sold so much out of that booth that we had to give her a much larger booth. So she did really well.
So now she has her own.
Now she has a huge booth.
Probably has her own little zip code
in the back, so nobody can bother her, and she can't bother us.
So, do you have any other dealers that might be anywhere on the par? Someone that has been there about as long, that has a quirkiness, a little specialty. We are going to.
Real mix of everything.
Now this is Leslie's booth.
This is Leslie's booth. This is a great set.
Now, what was her last name again?
DeVillas.
DeVillas.
Yes.
Now, can you tell me about some of these things? For example, this painting here.
I know nothing
how would you?
About
But how
painting.
would you? Well, but you've been doing this for some. If I were talking to you on the phone, and I asked you to describe the painting in her booth.
I come over here and go modern art.
Well, that nails it.
Yeah, it does.
That's just. You can't even add to that. Modern art. How much would this piece of modern art sell?
$195.
$195. I could have this. And I was here. I noticed now. Is this the kind of mermaid that you have on a ship? Is that?
Well, I think it is actually.
Yes, I did photograph this. So this is
cool. That's $195 too. She does a lot of $195. She has a little. She's had some interesting things. It's very clean right now, but normally she has.
So her booth is more clean right now, but this is not how it generally is. What would be the word?
Quirky.
Quirky. Okay.
Just a little bit of everything.
Now, what was the name? You told me the name of another one of your dealers. What was her name again?
Leslie DeVillas.
Leslie DeVillas. Could you spell DeVillas?
DeVillez.
And what would you say her specialty is?
Her specialty would be just about anything. She doesn't really she just finds quirky things.
And what would be an example of the kind of quirky things she may have found?
Oh, she had a really neat combination stove, refrigerator, and sink all in one.
Wow, that's quite a bit.
It was, no one had ever seen anything
handy for
like
a little
it.
teardrop trailer or something.
Yes.
So where were you raised?
Burbank.
Burbank. And did you go to Burbank High?
I went to John Burroughs.
John Burroughs. And where's that?
In Burbank.
In Burbank.
Yeah.
And when you were a little girl, what were you studying and hoping to be when you grew up?
Nothing really. I didn't like school.
Well, you may not like school, but you may have had some dreams and some career aspirations.
Gosh, you know, I don't really remember.
So
I think I was more into boys.
More into
school,
boys.
Yeah.
And
I was studying boys.
well, that's a maid. Did you ultimately get married?
I sure did.
Are you still married?
Yes, I am.
And how long have you been married?
I have been married now almost 30 years.
Well,
yeah.
That's so. Just about when I started my magazine, you got married.
Exactly.
And what did your husband do?
He is a retired school teacher.
Ah. So is he constantly correcting your grammar
Yes,
or correcting something or another?
My history, geometry, or geography, you name it. Is always correcting something.
And do you have any children?
I have 2 grown daughters.
And what are their first names?
Natalie and Gina.
Natalie and Gina. Is Natalie named after Natalie Wood?
Yes, actually.
Ah.
Born in the 60s.
Born in the 60s. So you saw a West Side Story and decided to name your daughter Natalie?
Right.
Is that right?
Natalie Wood was very popular back then.
Well, she was popular for a long time.
Yeah.
And so you went to John Burroughs High. Did you go to like Pierce College for some period of time?
I went to Glendale College.
Glendale
yeah,
College. And what were
then
some of the classes you
I
remember
actually
taking?
was studying law.
You were studying law.
Yeah.
So you wanted to be a lawyer or a paralegal, or
Something like that.
you just wanted. So what radio stations do you generally have playing here?
Pandora.
Pandora. Now, what is Pandora for the tech phobics, so they will know what it is?
We get Pandora off of our iPad, and we select certain artists, and then, like if I decide to play Linda Ronstadt, once her songs are through playing, it'll select other artists that are similar to her.
So what are some of the artists that you've selected?
Like this
is a Donovan song that
I've had this same station on all day.
So this is Pandora, and is this iPod generated? Now
iPad.
iPad. Now do you have the iPad 1, the classic, iPad 2, iPad 3? I bet you wouldn't know. Would you know?
I think I have the 2.
The 2. Okay. So now I'm just sort of going to take a wild guess. You know, when I look at you, I think that Maria, do you have 3 grandchildren? Is that the right amount?
I do.
Okay. Frank DC, I'm going to guess their ages. I'd say 14, 16, and the last one recently turned 18. Is that right? Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, see, I came to this conclusion that really French seemed to be one of the predominant influences. Now, would you agree with my assessment?
I would definitely agree with you.